Hey everybody, it's Simon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and we're going to be doing the background and the grading and the sketching for our cup. This is for day 3 of Acrylic April. If you're still here with me, thank you very much. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hey guys.
He's going to be in on these because I have been getting lonely on the video only, the website only videos. So I just needed some company, and he's my company because he's in here anyway, switching the camera. I'm going to just jump right on into this because I'm sure you guys are, trying to fit these in your day every day, and I think we can. You?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sounds already a switchy switch. So I'm going to be just painting in the grid, sketching in the design, getting our wishes out there, and getting ready for tomorrow. So my whole thing that I'm going to be doing is getting this in. Then I'm going to clean up my area, reset it, and prep it for tomorrow so I can jump right into what I've got to do tomorrow. That way I'm not having to add prep to where my energy is, if that makes sense.
So what you're seeing is Cinnamon going through the process of a daily painting just like you are at home.
That's right. Thank you, babe. That's right.
So she's having to go through the process of keeping her sacred space, learning how to adjust things, and how to get that flow. Because every day you'll have a new challenge in a daily painting.
I'm using a new paint that, I've used, but I don't know it like the paints that you see me use on my show all the time. But we wanted to demo some different types of paint on the show so we could share that experience with you guys. And that's been very interesting. That's something, anytime you do anything in your studio, I think you've got to make adjustments. I'm just going to use my palette knife to make a middle gray.
To make a what gray?
Maybe a darker than a middle gray.
Middle gray.
I'm going to just make a little gray here.
Like the gray in the middle.
Well, we did that value study, and I like that combo of the blue and black and the red against each other. I thought they were pretty dynamic. So my best guess is I'll just do like a gray background and then like sketch in with my chalk the background, and then we'll paint it in tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go over our wishes because we have wishes. This is where we're putting them.
On there. I see them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just looking for relief. She's, just some well-being and body and mind and spirit. She's just needing some relief and from pain and things. And so just positivity going her way. Helen, love and support to friends, family that's going through an unimaginable loss. And a love bubble and health bubble for Lisa, because she could use a little bit of that right now, too. I'm going to paint this over.
To all the Lisas.
Huh?
To all the Lisas.
All the Lisas everywhere. And to the Beckys and Karens and let's just say all the peoples.
Don't forget the Jonies.
All the peoples.
My grandma was a Joni.
Yes, she was. Oh, this canvas today. Look at that. It's like, no, I will not take paint. The canvas is full on telling me no.
It is. It's awesome.
Look at it. It's like, no.
It's
only I'm like, you will take it.
See it.
Huh?
It's only because I can zoom in to see that it's beating up.
It just was like not wanting. Look, it pulls back. It's like, no.
No. Just leave it there so I can zoom in and see that, because it's really crazy how that's happening.
This is a common issue with a lot of the economy surfaces. So whenever I know a lot of people are going to be using more economical surfaces, like painting every single day.
Yep.
I then try to myself buy more economical surfaces and then deal with those challenges. So you guys aren't alone in that.
But it happens.
It does happen. Look at that though.
Let me go.
You see that? Okay, I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do it right here.
Hold
on. Down. You can see it happening.
Yeah.
Now, I have not added more than 30% water to that mix. That has barely had any water added to it.
And that is a combination of that surface treatment and like you can sometimes, man, it's hard to,
acrylic paint sticks to acrylic paint, and that's one of the reasons that these grounds are great to do. Besides making sure that if you paint loose or you paint fast, you don't have a bunch of white like what we just had there. Can you imagine if we're trying to do these paintings and then the canvas was like, no sky for you.
Yeah, these base coats really help that a lot.
And it's an important thing to know that you might not know when you're new. New painters don't often do a daily painting, even though that's probably the most helpful thing that they could do for themselves in figuring out how to paint, because nothing helps you paint more than painting with your stuff every single day. You will very quickly start to get it, but it's intimidating. Like, how do you get through a daily painting? All the weird stuff like my canvas doesn't take paint. Hard to know. So I'm just trying to smooth all this out so it's a nice even coat. And also really, really bound.
And you don't have to feel bad if your paint isn't like perfect every time, because
No.
it's just about being able to get that image.
Get the image, get it up, get it done, and not wear yourself out. That's the only reason I'm being kind of strict about these time limits. Not that, okay, and something to clear up. Your value studies is one block of time, your gridding in is one block of time, and then the painting time is just us in the video. So I'm just trying to say don't spend 4 hours on that finished painting. And not because you can't, not because you won't learn from it, but because you'll get tired by day 30. It'll just wear you out midway through, and then you'll be like, I can't do it anymore. And I'm sure we're going to be going through that. I'm hoping if I could have anything happen, very few people have that experience. And if you're feeling challenged, know that I am too. It's not just that you're feeling challenged. I'm feeling challenged. This is hard. This has been daunting. Talked about doing this for a long time, but I've been afraid to do it. And I've jumped in for this because I'm feeling brave.
And I want to go back and just make a quick touch base on
Here,
something that
you want to talk to them while I hair dry?
Sure.
Okay.
Just while she's hair drying, I want to make sure you guys understand when we say things like the water beating up on the surface may be normal. It's normal for an economy surface with an economy paint to start with. It wouldn't be normal if you were using, a higher end, sort of what you would consider professional or a non-economy product. Try to put it that way. If you're, you need to set your expectations a little bit on where you're looking for. Like, we don't mind when you're having to put a couple coats of paint on because it is an economy paint and it's economy surface. But if you're buying a very high-end surface, you should expect that just one-shot brushstroke.
No, I missed that.
But that's okay. I was just saying it's okay to set your expectations on the product that you're using.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. It's like I think one of the things that's been a trip for me this time is putting down a bit of paint and not having it just be done, like having to come back again. The 2-coat thing, because oftentimes I paint with very high-end paint. Like, I have some tube of paint that are $40, and I realize not everybody who follows along with me is painting with that tube. The $40 is the right to be able to just go, now my red is done.
Right. And not have to just do a couple coats.
That's what it is. So it's definitely, I've been feeling it too. I did these 8x8, and you can print these out so that you can use them. I did them on 2-inch blocks, so every 2 inches I have a line, so that's where the squares are. If you're really new to drawing, you might want to make yours like every 1 inch. And remember, you can just do this over your own printout. You can change the grid with just a pencil. You can make this your own. This is just what I provided to you for free, but you're not like, there's not some reason like this is the only. It's just a good, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm coming along every 2 inches and I'm making a mark. So that's at the 2-inch, the 4-inch, and the 6-inch line. If you guys are a metric, I really apologize. I just am not good at metric. I'm really not. That's all it is. I'm not even anti-metric. I'm just not good at it. So I'm just going to take my chalk.
If you just flip that ruler over, it would be metric.
It's true, but then I don't know where I'm measuring.
Probably, if I had to guess, at the
okay, well,
10,
see, it does this thing where it's like
30.
just a little bit over 15 centimeters, or it's just a little over 10. They're not like 1-to-1. So it's a problem for me, not for you. You guys are probably good at math. It's a problem for me.
They millimerized your surfaces.
They did. So this one is a little bit easier because we're not going to necessarily sketch in with paint. We're going to sketch in with chalk today because we've got the red cup tomorrow, and I'm thinking that's just having every time we do this, I'm going to be learning from my materials what they will do and won't do, and I'm going to make adjustments. You guys have no idea how much of this journey is happening to me as well. Every time I do one of these things. Every time. There are things that I take away. I'm always made stronger. A little bit like Xena in the Gauntlet.
That's funny.
All right. So now I've got my little grid in.
It's gridded.
It's gridded. And so what that does for me is that lets me place my objects on the canvas and not get lost in my own spatial hangups. Like if you were just with me doing the handle where I was like, handle, this will help me deal with the handle a little bit. So I'm going to start at the top of the cup and I'm going to make a little mark here. I would say right about there is where the cup is, and then it starts to come here on its curve. We come right down about to that line there. And then that lip of the cup comes out here about a quarter of an inch. See how we're doing this?
Yeah.
All the way down to here for the front. This does really help make the ellipse much less troubling. So I'm going to come up a little bit here. And then it's here. So that's my ellipse. Now when I'm trying to do that, you guys saw me do like the sketchy sketch ellipse where like, I'm still going to be sketchy. There's no way I'm not going to be sketchy. I'm a sketchy person. But now I have it much more accurate to the photograph. It helped me too. Helped everybody.
Back in the 90s, being sketchy wasn't necessarily a good thing.
It's still not a good thing. I'm just saying, well, yes, it is. Like thoughts and sketchy. In art, they're good. All right. So
It's good to be sketchy.
good to be a little sketchy. I'm going to bring this up here. I'm going to do my smile. I always think of the bottom of a cup as a smile. So you see I'm making my little smile. And I just try to see where does it go into the square. And then I can tell that this edge of the cup comes to about right here. So when I'm curving this down, look at how that helps me.
It's got some perspective on it.
It does. It helps me. It helps me not get lost in what I'm trying to do. Now, the handle was such a thing for me. But now I know that it comes here at a little angle and it's going to come out like that.
That Potter is improving every day.
So it's just fair enough. Fair enough.
It's got to be, ask any Potter. The first time you throw a cup, that's got some wonky lines to it. But after you throw it a few, they get a little better.
So here we go. I've got to come down this almost to like, I've got to maybe even come in because it seems like there's about this much plate. So it's about finding that similar space in the grid and just doing what you see. Now, the bottom of the handle seems to come down to right about here and then go above this a little bit. See how it's doing?
I do.
And so then this comes out quite flat, almost. Aha! This for me right here is the most challenging part of this whole piece. Well, till tomorrow when I'm live again and everyone's like, every time. I only consider a painting a win is if you guys feel like you could find everything and you succeeded. And if you guys are not feeling like you succeeded, then I kind of feel like I didn't do a good job. So I'm always like watching. Don't like not tell me how you're doing. But it's just something that I go through. So, all right, that's better than last time.
Yeah, that Potter's getting really good.
He's improved. So I'm going to bring the saucer this way. Saucer down here. See, I just saucer it up.
It's a saucy saucer.
It's a saucy saucer. Well, you know how saucers are.
They get thrown around a lot.
Because they're flying. Flying saucers.
They are at that point.
By the time I draw them, they're a flying saucer.
Well, they're UFOs at that point.
So you can see I'm just sketching this around. So that's how I don't get completely overwhelmed and lost on something. And then I can refine this sketch a little bit as I need to. And here's an interesting thing. So I've got this brush. This is my erase. Look. I need to refine what I drew. It's just like really helpful. Like, oh no. And then all I have to do is get it a little bit wet and it really takes up the chalk. So that's a helpful thing too.
Oh yeah, it really does. Cool.
And so I can, if I've got to really refine a line, I've got that. And then the last thing I really got to get in, this part of the cup, this weird part of the lips, it's a big deal. So I'm going to come here and say, all right, this much of the lip has to be there. And then the lip is down here, here. That stops into there. See, already that's better than what I had going on. I'm going to bring the lip to about here, and then it stops about here. So suddenly my little curvy lip in the foam is much more the perspective that I would have inside the cup. But sometimes I can get a little off about that. My heart, look how easy it is to do now. I can bring that little point down to about here, and we know almost the midpoint, it comes down and does that. Then my heart's in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. It's in perspective. What? Now if I can get that brown yellow going and it's in perspective, I will have one coffee cup. One of these paintings, I'm going to come away and I'm like, that's the one. I'm going to be looking at this. I'm going to talk at the end of this, not only about other daily paintings I've done, but like even on this one, what was my favorite project? What project was I like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to get through it. I'm going to really try to share my experience as much as possible. Mostly so you guys know that your experience with it, that your frustration, your anxiety, your worry, that fear that you're going to work really hard and it's not going to result in you being a better painter, that you're not alone in it. I think that's a pretty universal fear, especially on anyone starting a daily painting, is I'm going to go every 30 days and then nothing will happen, which I promise you it won't. I've been sharing posts of people who've made big progressions in their art journeys, showing their first paintings and what they're doing today. So you can see, do commit, if you invest in yourself, if you do to the time, you will get better. Boom. All right. So we're ready to meet up at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, April 3rd for this painting. Of course, this may be something that you find later. Maybe you're starting the Acrylic April journey in November, which is also cool. The idea is just to give yourself 30 days to make a foundational transformation in your art. Whether you're very experienced, whether you're very new, this is the thing that I think does the most for you in your own growth. Be good to yourself, be good to each other. And I want to see you at the easel really soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.